Look, my job was to do it. Look, I knew I was on the ticket. I would argue because we did a lot of amazing progressive things in Minnesota that improved people's lives. But I also was on the ticket, quite honestly, because I could code talk to white guys watching football, fixing their truck, doing that I could put them at ease. I was the permission structure to say, look, you can do this and vote for this.
One of my favorite things about the Democratic Party is their inability to be real and authentic. And I'm kidding. I don't love it, but I guess that's why they lose. To be fair, if these people were actually real and authentic, they might actually have policies that make sense and resonate with people. Instead, they seem to be what we would describe as non-player characters. People who actually aren't actively, they're not actively thinking about what's happening in this world. Democrats eyeing 2028 court the Manosphere. Oh, the Manosphere, you say. Okay, anybody who's been online and actually knows what's going on in this world knows what the Manosphere is. Axios apparently doesn't. But let me give a shout out to Alex Thompson, the guy who claimed, we just missed this story. He's not really British, but he claimed, I just do that because it makes him sound hoity-toity. They claim that they missed the Joe Biden story, that he was losing his mind and they just didn't notice. Sure. Now they're making the argument that Democrats are actually going to go talk to Andrew Tate. Yeah, no, that's not happening because these people are lying for clicks because what they do. Alex Thompson, let me just say this as clearly as I can to you. You have to be the worst journalist I have ever heard of. But I have heard of you. Anyway, check this out. Axios reports Democrats eyeing 2028 court the Manosphere. Ambitious Democrats are increasingly jumping into a universe of podcasts and internet shows they once shunned. Right-leaning ones geared towards them. Really? Right-leaning podcasts? Who's that? President Trump won the majority of male voters last November and made huge gains among those under 30. A group Joe Biden had won in 2020. Now Democrats are scrambling to counter Trump's version of a masculine appeal. All right. Trump made a point of going on popular shows that are part of the Manosphere, including those hosted by Joe Rogan, Theo Von, Lex Fridman, and Andrew Schultz. Ladies and gentlemen, none of those shows are Manosphere. None of them. Any cursory Google search of what the Manosphere is going to bring up wildly different things. Now, I looked it up for you. Manosphere on Wikipedia. But to be fair, even this is stupid. They do say Andrew Tate, Myron Gaines, hey, he was here yesterday, Aiden Ross, Roosh V, Carl Benjamin, and Jordan Peterson. Okay. Now, Andrew Tate, maybe. Manosphere goes back, and I say maybe because it's certainly not what the Manosphere was 10 years ago. Wikipedia says the Manosphere is a varied collection of websites, blogs, and forums promoting masculinity, misogyny, opposition to feminism. Communities in the Manosphere include men's rights organizations, incels, MGTOWs, pickup artists, fathers' rights groups. I guess, technically, largely the Manosphere was more so the red pill dating scene, pickup artists, and MGTOW stuff. Anti-feminism kind of overlapped, but it wasn't the core focus of the Manosphere necessarily. And those who were anti-feminist in the political space, it wasn't their core issue to largely be Manosphere masculine influencers. But I digress. I don't think Jordan Peterson and Carl Benjamin are Manosphere, but that's neither here nor there. Because what they're claiming is that by going on Joe Rogan, they're actually arguing that Joe Rogan and Andrew Tate have similarities. Guys, Joe Rogan and Andrew Tate, the only similarities they have is they're fighters. They're in shape fighters. They probably agree on a lot of things. Don't get me wrong. Everybody drinks water, right? But the podcasts, the things they produce are wholly different. Andrew Tate is talking about being, and I mean this not derisively, but a tough guy. Like, get fit, be strong, take that rocket to the moon. Now, he's talked about the things he regrets in the past, and by all means, criticize him. I'm not here to defend the guy. But Joe Rogan talks about UFOs. Joe Rogan's a general interest podcast. He has anybody on. It's not Manosphere. They're basically saying the Manosphere is shows for men. They've accused me of this. This is the weirdest thing. I think I was on Piers Morgan's show, and they were like, you're just the Manosphere catering to men. And I'm like, what? I mean, yeah, our audience is largely guys, but that's because women don't watch the news. But anyway, I digress. Driving the news. Since November, several potential 2028 contenders have appeared on those shows, including Pete Buttigieg, Josh Shapiro, and Ro Khanna. Now, Ro Khanna appeared on Timcast IRL. It was a good show. Buttigieg, sporting a new beard, won the Flagrant podcast, and its right-leaning comedian. Andrew Schultz, it's not right-leaning. He's a moderate liberal guy. He's not overtly political. This is laughable. Earlier this month, Shapiro joined the Men at Work podcast, which describes himself as thoughtful, dumb guy questions. Shapiro's also been making the rounds talking about football and the Eagles. They say in January, Rogan was on the PBD podcast, which is hosted by right-wing commentator Patrick Bet David and has a mix of politics and sports. Trump went on the podcast last fall. Excuse me. Ro Khanna in January was also on Timcast IRL. Thank you very much. But I guess we don't qualify as Manosphere, so whatever, I'll take it. They say as these podcasts boomed, prominent Democrats shied away because of the host's controversial, offensive, sometimes offensive comments that could upset the base of the party. Now, that's fair, okay? Buttigieg acknowledged the dynamic of the host on Flagrant, telling them that sometimes unfairly there's a contagion of cancel culture. To me, it's worth the risk in order to reach everybody. Buttigieg later wrote in a note on Substack that one thing that is clear from the last election is that my side of the aisle must examine not only what we have to say, but how and where we have to say it. Schultz, one of the Flagrant co-hosts, has stirred controversy in the past with his jokes about race. Earlier this year, he said, quote, with black people, if a white person isn't like a little racist around you, and this is Andrew Schultz, then you shouldn't, and Andrew Schultz said this, shouldn't trust them. They got to be a little racist. You got to let a little out. He's making a joke. The liberal group Media Matters wrote that Bet David's podcast was a platform for far-right figures to promote conspiracy theories and bigotry. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. What is this? Biden, Democrats, such as Move On. Here's the issue. These people wouldn't know authentic if it bit them on the arse. Okay. They are plastic people. They are in a collective cult and they don't know how to talk like regular folk. They just aren't themselves. Okay. Look, I'm a guy who wears a beanie all the time. And then half the people laugh about it. The other half laugh at me about it. And whatever, I'm also genetically missing a tooth, and that's just what I am. I've got gray forming in my beard, and I'm never going to get surgery. I'm never going to get dental work to look cosmetically beautiful. I'm never going to get none of this stuff. I got bags coming under my eyes. I'm about to be 40 years old. Authentic, I'm just a dude who sits in a chair, turns the camera on, and complains. And you know what? It works decently well. Timcast IRL is the third biggest live stream in the country on average. And the Tim Pool Morning Show, this in combination with the morning hour, tends to be around number 7 in the world. Now, I'm not getting 10 million in every podcast because I do something like 15 videos per day, and there's only so many people in the world. But I think we do around 60, 70 million views per month across the board. It's pretty hefty, okay? And I would say, I'm just guessing. The reason why most of you watch is for exactly as I've described. I kind of just talk how I feel. I try to get the news right. And you know that even when I'm wrong, I actually think these things and I'm trying to be correct. My political views may be different from, say, Charlie Kirk, but we agree on what's true and what's not because we fact check these things. And then we can disagree politically, but we get along. That's what the Trump coalition is. The Democrats are like, what lie do I have to say to make it sound like I'm part of the cult? Let's roll, baby. Tim Walz mocked for saying Kamala Harris picked him because he could code talk to white guys. He didn't just say code talk to white guys, he said code talk to white guys with his weird flopping dialect. Do we have the audio on this one?
Here those elephants were. And as soon as they felt the earth shaking beneath
we don't
their
need to listen
feet,
to this.
They got in a circle and stood next to each other to protect the most vulnerable. Think about it. What a powerful metaphor.
Do these people not have a mirror to look in? Now, I got to be honest. The way I feel about Democrats today is the way I felt about Republicans some like 20 years ago. Like, do these people not have mirrors? Code talk to white guys. Do we have, what do we have? Do we have the post here?
People's lives, but I also improve people's lives. But I also was on the ticket, quite honestly, you know, because I could code talk to white guys watching football, fixing their truck, doing that I could put them at ease. I was the permission structure to say, look, you can do this and vote for this. And you look across those swing states, with the exception of Minnesota, we didn't get enough of those votes.
Well, we didn't get enough of those votes. Maybe it's because you actually can't code talk to white guys. But let's just break down what it means to code talk, my friends. This is a far left psychopathic statement. They're basically saying, hey, This is a cult. The liberals are all a cult, and their brains can't comprehend basic English. So we need to bring in a guy who wants to be in a cult, but knows how to talk like a regular dude. Unfortunately for them, Tim Walz only appears to them like he can talk like a regular dude. In fact, he can't actually speak like a normal human being if his life depended on it. Like when he was like, I like white guy tacos. It's beef and tortillas. And then Kamala's like, do you season it? No. You're not code talking to anybody, dude. In fact, if anything, you're white splaining a fake white trope to non-white people. Like that was the whole point of what he did. That there's going to be black and minority individuals who don't know what it's like in a white household, and they're all sitting there being like, white people don't like seasoning. It's like, what? Have you guys ever watched Chef Ramsay? Pretty sure he's a white dude. How about Malto Mario? He got Me Too, so I don't know about that guy. But how about Emerald? These guys are all white, and Emerald is the BAM guy, where he puts seasoning in basically everything, and he sells the BAM seasoning. You're fake, and everybody knows it. You're coming out and pandering to people by insulting another group of people. There's no saving the Democrats now. This guy, Alex Thompson, bro, I'm going to say it to you, and I hope you hear this. I hope someone sends you this clip. Did you even Google search what Manosphere means before you word vomited this garbage onto the internet? This is why Democrats lose, and it's why we largely say the media and Democrats are one and the same. Because they are as, what's the right word? I don't know, insipid? They are as deluded and incapable of authenticity as each other. They're the same thing, the cult. They march in lockstep. They don't do research. They are as dumb as a box of rocks. And I hate to say it because that insults rocks. And quite honestly, I've got a decent collection. But for the time being, as Democrats struggle to figure out how to find a front runner, I say, let's watch them wallow. I find enjoyment in it. Call it schadenfreude, call it whatever you want. I'm having a good time. With all that being said, let's pay attention. AOC's got some X factor there. I don't know if she has the celebrity, we call it the Q factor, to actually be able to win an election. And I think there's a lot of sexists in this country that aren't going to want to vote for a woman. Some might say they're right to be sexist. I'm just saying they ain't going to vote for a woman. So I don't know what the Democratic Party thinks they're going to muster up. Maybe they'll surprise us, but I'll leave it there. Stay tuned. We got more segments coming up for you in a couple hours, I guess, or just throughout the day. Excuse me. Follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast, and we'll see you all in the next segment.